Hey, and welcome to my channel and to the first episode of my Chatbot series. In this series we build some useful applications of chatbot systems in the context of large language models. With the success of ChatGPT, OpenAI has leveled the playing field for natural language for computers. Until then, the only way to interact with computers was to use rather rigid protocols like text forms, buttons, and programming languages. This is changing now. We can now talk to computers and directly communicate our goals and expectations. Therefore, chat-driven user interfaces will play a major role in the upcoming generation of software systems, and it is important for us software developers to get a foot into this opening door right now. In this example, we can see a possible chat interface to a calendar system, allowing us to directly chat with our calendar and schedule meetings just by leaving a note. This can even be implemented in our everyday chat messengers, like in this example as a Telegram bot. In this video, we will therefore use the Python Telegram bot module to connect a Python script to GPT using the OpenAI module, so we can chat with GPT inside Telegram. Telegram's bot API is quite sophisticated, but also very easy to use and set up, so we can quickly develop complex apps like web shops or even games that can be used right inside of a Telegram chat. To get started, we can just visit Botfather, a built-in Telegram bot that helps us create and manage our bots. We can just use the /new bot command to create a new bot, choose a name and a username, and Botfather will automatically create the bot and provide us with an access token for that bot. The bot is already searchable in Telegram after creation, and we can now use the access token to connect a Python script to the bot and respond to messages and commands. So let's get started coding the bot. I've prepared a simple Python project with a venv inside the PyCharm IDE. I will start by creating a simple bot that echoes back everything we send to it. First, we can store the token we got from Botfather inside of a variable. I will show you a more secure way to do this later. Now we can visit the Python Telegram bot module documentation and just copy the pip command to install the package to our venv. This might take some time, so in the meantime we can copy-paste the hello world example to get the basic structures down. We can now fill in the token to the application builder. The application builder prepares an application for us that we can add handlers for commands and messages to. A message handler uses filters to respond to certain types of messages. We add the text filter and add a new handler function for the message handler. Handler functions always have the same signature. They are async and get provided an update object and a context object. We can use the update message reply text function to just reply with you said and then the text of the message. We also have to add the filters to the imports, as they were not used in the example. Now we can run the bot and test if we can interact with it. No error occurs, so let's go to the bot and start chatting. As we can see, the bot just echoes back everything we type. If we type /hello, we get a personalized greeting. We can see that the /start command is also interpreted as a message, as it is not handled by a command handler. Let's fix this first. We can add a negative command filter to the message handler, so it does not respond to command anymore. As we can see, unknown commands are not handled anymore now. Now I will show you a more secure way to store the access token. We create a .env file and set the token there as an environment variable. We can store all kinds of environment variables here safely. So let's also prepare a dummy for the OpenAI API key we will need later. We can now import the .env module. It is already installed in my venv, but make sure to select the right python.env when pip importing it. Now we can use the load.env function to get the environment set up. We can then get the value of the variable using operation system environment get. So now let's try if this is still working. Still working. Still working. Nice, very good. Let's continue by building a basic ChatGPT application next, before we can easily put both pieces together later for the GPT Telegram bot. So let's create the file and start by importing the OpenAI module. We can automatically install it to the venv using Alt-Enter. We can now visit the documentation of OpenAI to see how the API can be used. There are many different types of models, and there's also a snippet of example code we can copy-paste. To retrieve the response text from the response object, we have to scroll down a little and also copy that part. Next, we wrap it all up into a simple helper function called ChatGPT, taking a message text, a context object, and the model to be used. Let's just set the model to GPT-4 per default. The context will be a list of objects, each object holding the role of the writer and the text content. We can now add a message object to the context for the message coming in from the user, reusing a message with the user role from the example context, and replacing the text with a message. The response of GPT has to be added to the context as well. We can add it using the assistant role. We just store the response text in a variable result that we add to the context and also return to the function's caller. The remainder of the example chat context contains a message with the system role. This is a special first message that is optimized for setting the goal and role instructions for the assistant that it should fulfill. We keep it at the default, you are an helpful assistant first, and use that as the initial state of a context. Now let's get a chat going inside of our console. In an infinite loop, we input a message from the user and then send it to GPT using a function. We then just print the result. The last thing we have to do is to prepare an API key we can use for this application. Let's just visit the API keys page in our OpenAI account and create a new API key just for this video. And we put it into our .env file. You can also revoke keys later, and I hope I will do that so you guys can't waste my money. We forgot to import the .env module here as well, so let's do this quickly and test our script then. Hey GPT, what's up? We get a curious error. I researched it and it seems OpenAI has already changed the API, so the docs are outdated. Unfortunately, this field is developing so rapidly that information gets outdated really fast. So maybe when you are watching this, everything is already entirely different. The principles should be the same though. In this case, we just have to use object notation to access the fields of the response. So let's run our script again. Hey GPT, what's up? Hello, I'm here to assist you. How can I help you today? Let's check if the context is preserved. Indeed, we have a continuous chat going on. So we can put it all together now. I will speed this up a little as I'm doing a little refactoring here. Just copy all the code that is relevant from both files into the new file and move it around so we can use both functionalities. So let's get the imports right and the command handlers as well. First, we delete the hello command handler as we don't need it anymore. Now we can change the message handler so it uses the global chat context and feeds the message we get from the user into our ChatGPT function. We can then just reply to the user with the response we got from our function. Let's also keep the handler registration for the command here for now, as we might need it later to add commands easily. So this is our code now. Let's see if everything is working. Yes, we get a response as previously, and we can also preserve the context. Let's now add a command to reset the conversation history so it does not accumulate infinitely. If the restart command is sent, we just reset the context to the initial message to send a confirmation. Let's see if the restart command works as expected. Yes, GPT forgot our previous messages and says it does not have context and blah blah blah. To deploy the script to a server, we don't want random people to waste our money or resources using our bot. So let's add a secret passphrase that limits access to the bot to us and our friends. If the user is not an allowed user, we just tell them to enter the secret passphrase, aborting both the message and the restart functionality. If the user writes the secret passphrase, we add the user to the allowed users list and confirm that access is granted. So let's test this now. Please enter the secret passphrase first. This is a secret passphrase. Access granted. And we are now on the list of allowed users and can chat with the bot. Whoa, GPT is ready to serve us 24/7. There's one important thing left to do. At the moment, all of our users share the same chat context history. This is not what we want. We should give a personal chat context to each of our users. So let's create a dictionary here that maps from user ID to chat context and use that instead. We of course have to do some refactoring here, but nothing too complicated. So let's try it out. Enter the passphrase again and check if it is still running. Yes, it is. So here we have it, a simple bot we can use and extend to build powerful chat-driven applications with GPT access right inside of our everyday chat messengers. The same approach could be done for Discord, Facebook or even WhatsApp as well. In the next episodes, we might explore the possibilities of multimodality using the vision model of GPT-4, give our bot access to a Linux terminal to execute commands and write code, build a knowledge database that we can use for note-taking with reusable contexts, or build a general interface to all kinds of messengers like Discord, Meta or WhatsApp. If you like what I'm doing, you can support me with a like, comment or subscription, or even become a Patreon to get access to my bots. See you around!